Allegedly, this is God. This is me meeting God. But here's the thing about this God in the hit horror game Mole. I think he's actually the devil. If you're anything like me, you have a ton of questions about why am I chilling with a god in a cathedral thousands of meters underground? Why is this radioactive dingleberry trying to kill me? And what happened to my player character's dead son? Fortunately for both you and I'm on the spectrum. And I like making in-depth video analysis and I like researching and making in-depth analysis videos on games I play, and today's subject is the new hit horror game, Mole. Now, before I dig too deep into Mole, allow me to introduce you to the game and its major plot lines. If you want to avoid any spoilers before playing it yourself, please stop watching right now. But if you just want to watch a playthrough, link down below in the description is my full, blind playthrough of Mole. Mole is a psychological horror game with a rich and deep story laden with symbolism and tense moments that leave you forgetting to breathe and blink. Within this game, you play as Victor, a navigator for the deep earth drilling ships known as moles. Victor and his crew of the M13 Mole were drilling deep into the Earth's crust, attempting to find the source of a signal known as the White Rabbit signal, while also looking for the missing M12 Mole that was on the same mission 9 years prior. The game starts and loads you with information about Victor being an alcoholic, his son's passing 2 years before the events of the game, and the entire crew of the ship being dead aside from Victor, which through context clues we can assume Victor's the culprit. The game plays through providing you information from the ghosts of Victor's dead cohorts, and with information from this White Rabbit signal that is something alive, dead, holy, or evil, and is promising to reunite you with your deceased son if you do what it asks. Progressing into the game, you learn more of Victor's backstory, Victor's son Petro, the company Victor is working for, and we learn that the White Rabbit is indeed an angel from the heavens that was cast down by humanity. After jump scares, a handful of puzzles, and information bombs, Victor makes it to the White Rabbit, where it is revealed that Victor's father was the navigator of the missing M12 Mole, and that the White Rabbit's promises were true, but not the full truth. As Victor fulfills the White Rabbit's wishes of releasing it from the Earth, it kills Victor and reunites him with his son in the afterlife. And really, this game is so cool and truly a labor of love. It has taken me a full week to review every bit of my footage from my 4-hour playthrough and research everything just to answer these questions that I had. Who is the angel, and is it actually evil? What's the importance of Victor's son, Petro? And finally, what the fuck is this game about? And there's only one way to answer these questions, and that's to assemble the game's already horridly broken story, take it, and we gotta put it into a timeline here. So we're gonna start from the beginning. Okay, kind of wild name for a chapter in a video, right? Just stay with me. This chapter is about the history and the lore in this game. Mole's history parallels the story of the real-life Bible very intentionally. Near the end of the game, before meeting the White Rabbit signal, or angel, which is what we'll call him for the remainder of this video, there are texts and paintings on a wall, and you have to pair the text with the paintings to get the story. The text reads, "An angel descended onto the earth, the first witness lay wrapped in swaddling cloth. The angel taught truth and secrets only she truly understood. All flesh withers, some flowers are cut before they can bloom. The people mourned the ways of the world. The angel refused the cruelty of fate, he shattered the boundaries between life and death. They feared a world unaligned with the tyranny of their dogma, thus the angel was condemned and cast down. The angel was imprisoned beneath the earth, the knowledge he had given them became his chains." For the blessed few of you unfamiliar with Christianity, this mimics the Christian God giving humanity Jesus then dying, and then God resurrecting Jesus. The thing about the Bible story that's different in Mole is that humanity was upset that the angel resurrected the baby, or Jesus, and nobody else. Humanity, being sane, killed the angel's favorite pupil, then cast down and sealed the angel out of fears of their new dogmatic tyrant. The world in Mole continues and progresses on without the angel, then writes its own history and Bibles, claiming it was the wicked humans that cast out the angel. And there are in-game Bible verses that do give us a little bit of the history of the game, Here's one of them. And the wicked rejected the angel's mercy. Instead, they cast the angel down deep below the earth, where there they bound the angel in a prison of stone. Now, this is where the chapter title's starting to hopefully make a little bit of sense. Humanity cast down the angel and then writes a book claiming it was wicked humans that did it in the name of making humanity compliant with the new tyrants in charge. These kinds of cover-ups are a recurring theme here, and real life too. Continuing our timeline, Strata, the company that employs Victor, upon finding the signal, invites Victor to pilot the M12 mole. He denies in order to stay with his son, and in his stay, Victor's father pilots the mole. They send down the M12 mole in search of the White Rabbit signal. This first mission is what caused Victor's apartment building to catch fire and fatally wound his son Petro. The angel tells us this about the fire. They called it the Matryoshka incident. Strata had refused to let the drilling missions be a thing of the past. Instead, they ventured beyond where your kind were ever meant to go and awoke things that should have been left sleeping. Again, another cover-up by this company, Strata. And here's also another interesting point that I couldn't really find any conclusive evidence on. Do you see this blue poster right here? Well, it's red, but do you see the blue right there in the center? Yeah, you don't really see this blue anywhere else. Blue and cyan are a rarely used color in this game. The only other time I truly notice is the wicked humans that cast the angel down. These wicked humans are wearing a pretty similar shade of blue. Again, I couldn't draw any substantiated conclusions here, so it's likely a coincidence, but an interesting one nonetheless. Life above ground continues, Strata gears up for the M13 mission, and Victor loses his son Petro from his injuries in the fire. Experimental and expensive new technology allows Victor to upload Petro's consciousness into a cassette, putting Victor into extreme debt. Now, missing his dad, his son in a cassette tape, and in extreme debt, Victor accepts the job to pilot the M13 mole. On board the M13 with his crew, Victor begins to experience hallucinations known as signal sickness. The crew on board holds a vote to end the mission with only one person voting to continue. The mission is now set to come to an end. The game begins with Victor being the last person alive on the M13 and with promises from the White Rabbit signal to reunite him with his son. Mole is an incredibly enjoyable, horrific carrot and stick game. You're constantly given information and you never really know if it's real or just another hallucination. Take our caustic string bean right here. He's not real, but he is very important in telling the story despite his main shtick being a scary naked man. But how is he important and what does he symbolize? Well, I have two working theories, one of which I do find to be more believable. The first one I think it could be is the creature is the embodiment of Victor's survivor guilt. Later in the game, when you meet the angel, he says, "The past that binds us both can be washed away. So take the ewer, wash away all these memories of funerals and loss and death forever." Calling Victor's past a binder is a clear indicator that Victor has been held back by the passing of Petro and his missing father. This led me to one conclusion, that the creature is the embodiment. Why do I keep saying embodiment? Pretentious. Embodiment of Victor's emotional state before boarding the M13. A state devoid of hope, drenched in despair and agony. And the creature only begins chasing Victor when he receives that glimmer of hope to be reunited with Petro. And this next quote from the angel does help with the before-mentioned theory, but it also leads me to think about something else. Shortly after escaping from the creature for the first time, the angel says, "Breathe out. You did well. That was nothing but a creature of the past. I believe it gave up on your time a long time ago. I never did." Earlier when I was talking about cover-ups, there's a consistent actor in all of this. It's the company sending moles down, called Strata. My second theory, and the one that I personally believe is more prominent or correct, is that the creature is the embodiment of Strata, or better yet, Victor's fears of Strata. That was nothing but a creature of the past. I believe it gave up on your time a long time ago, can only mean so many things. and the most clear indicator and enemy through the game is Strahta. They are the causation of Petro's death and why Victor's father is missing. Strahta had their hand in covering up the Matryoshka incident. We can assume that they rewrote the history books, and they make it very apparent that they never had Victor's best interests at heart. From the beginning, Strahta and their indifference is pointed out by the Angel. We're terminating your autopilot systems in order to save power while we are discussing extraction. I assure you no one wants this, especially when you are so close to the M12 vessel. But sometimes you really just have to accept reality. Don't listen to their apathy? That's from the rabbit, isn't it? Even if you tried to explain what truly is at stake here for you now, would they understand? And then, towards the end of the game, Strahta was so willing to throw away Victor's life, saying, why didn't they just kill him? Also, not to mention that they are going to blame Victor for everything. If there is blame in this mission, it begins with me, but they won't write my name in the report. It will be yours. History doesn't punish the guilty, it punishes the convenient. Whether or not Victor is aware of it early on in the game, he has to at least subconsciously know that Strahta doesn't care for his life. Giving in to this creature and going against the Angel's wishes to Victor would be giving in to Strahta and giving up hope on seeing his son and father ever again. Yeah, this game it's freaking insane. I'm having to pull quotes from the beginning and the ending to quantify and then justify theories here. Okay, now that both you and I have a greater understanding of the game's lore and we've tied up a loose end or two, let's meet. Our guiding light and voice of reason through the entire playthrough, the White Rabbit, or the Angel, is the source of all of the information that we gather. Not all, but the majority of it. And, is it really an angel? Yeah, okay, I've quoted some of the Bible verses in the game before, but let's actually take a look at them here. Throne 732, and the angel descended upon the earth and wiped every tear from their eye. Throne 13, verses 18 and 19. And the angel spoke, the earth shall give up those that are asleep in it. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. Now, I'm sure you've heard this rearranged quote in media over the years. These are both a variation from the popular Bible quote, Revelations 21:4. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things have passed away. Now, I thought it was odd that they would use actual quotes from the Bible, but not use the name of where they came from. This book, Throne, is quoting the real book, Revelations. Here's where it gets a little interesting. If we assume Mole's Book of Throne is our book of Revelations, we can assume that maybe they are referencing something in the Bible. The first verse, verse 32, leads to nothing in our Revelations, but Revelations chapter 13, verse 18 does exist, and it states, this calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Does this mean our devs are hinting that the angel is the beast? One problem we face is the angel's a pretty nice guy. He says we'll be reunited with Petro. Like, that's nice of him to do that for us. But then if the angel truly is good, why is he trying to convince us that he is? The angel says you have to make a choice, Victor. Follow my light or let them devour you. Now, I'm not a therapist, but that reads manipulative a little bit, especially when paired with this quote. Like Petro, I still live on, trapped in static. His cassette is the key. It is what will bridge the gap between us, between life and death. And in case you missed it, the angel says bridge the gap between us, between life and death. Is the angel saying he's dead here? Is he gaslight, gatekeeping, girl bossing all over our face? We're just running into it happily. Granted, as a father myself, I would do anything he asked just to see my own kid again. But there's just a few too many coincidences to not question these things. Let me show you a condensed ending to the game here. Victor makes it to the missing M12 mole. Victor uploads the angel into Petro's neural cassette. The angel kills Victor and keeps his promise. Strata gets a hold of the cassette and plugs it in. The angel's released and kills everyone, we assume. There's some very hidden proof of what the angel is here, though. On the computer monitor, we see translations of the angel's language. And I'm only going to read a few of these off. If y'all want, feel free to pause the video and read these. They're actually kind of insane. Burning church, mass grave, they tore the wings from us, they feared the light, they buried us below, they sealed the gates, we remember, we wait, heaven is empty, we remain. Not sure about you, but this isn't sounding very textbook angelic. But wait, I'm missing context here. I think I'm asking the wrong question on if the angel is an angel or if it's a devil. Our question needs to be, what is the angel? And why is it causing all of this trying to get free? Why does it kill humanity yet reunite Victor? It's because in this telling of God coming to earth, God or the angel is more human than God. The angel's favored pupil, the baby wrapped in swaddling cloth, died. Some flowers are cut before they can bloom. The angel would do anything to have them back, so they resurrected their pupil. Now dejected by humanity, the pupil was killed and the angel was cast out. Like, of course the angel's more human. Like, if this happened to me, I would also be burning churches and digging mass graves. So the answer to our hell-burning question is likely one of three options. Option 1, our angel is a devil or demon hell-bent on ruling the earth with a right-hand man. Option 2, our angel is in fact an angel, but tyrannical and willing to kill all of his pupils to prove a point. Or option 3, our angel is simply just human and couldn't process the feelings of losing what was like their child, and is thus a victim for being sealed away when all they did was all they could do, just for more time with their loved one. Let me know down in the comments which option you think it might be, and let me know any other theories you might have about Mole. And while you're down there, make sure to like and subscribe. Personally, I think it's option 3, and I really just needed to segue into, this bit. Time for our other two questions, Petro's importance and what the fuck is this game about? So, what's the importance of Victor's son Petro? I almost included this earlier when talking about the angel and its tie-ins with the Bible, funny enough, but its importance is here. So Victor's son is named Petro, as we know. Petro, in Russian, actually has an English counterpart, Peter. Peter, in the Bible, was one of Jesus' loyal followers, and Peter was a martyr, meaning he died, or the way he died was for a cause. If Petro had never passed away, Victor would have never uploaded his consciousness into a cassette and would have never gone onto the M13. Additionally, the only way Victor is able to free the angel is to sacrifice Petro's consciousness on the cassette and upload the angel into it, freeing him from his prison of stone and once more making Petro the martyr in our story. An interesting additional piece here that was a foreshadowing to Victor consuming Petro's cassette. In a hallucination scene, Victor is in the hospital outside of Petro's room. There's a famous painting on the wall. This painting is commonly speculated to depict the Greek myth of Saturn devouring one of his sons. So yes, without Petro, we wouldn't have a story at all here. Petro is the cornerstone of the entire game. Final piece of information while we're still here talking about Petro, this kind of little fun thing I found. On his cassette is the Bible verse 1 James 5:15. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. If they have sinned, they will be forgiven. Kind of cool foreshadowing, considering that Petro and Victor were the only two actually saved by the angel. But yeah, Petro's the cornerstone. Really, just like hidden bits of pieces of things that just point you to he's a martyr. Wouldn't have happened without him. And so now that we have all of our cards on the table, what is this game about? If anyone asks me, I'll tell them that I think Mole is about the life after death, but not reincarnation or any of that. It's about the people with feet on the ground after the loss of a loved one, and more particularly the loss of their child. This is shown through Victor's grief and then personified survivor's guilt in the creature. It's also shown in the angel and their child in swaddling cloth. Some flowers were cut before they can bloom, and the angel refused the cruelty of fate. The angel and Victor didn't know what to do after their loss, so they both did everything in their power to bring back the one person, keeping them above ground. God, I love a double entendre. Also, not just to bring back, but to hold on to any piece of that person that they could. When the angel lost everything, even the name of their loved one, of course they went on a rampage. I would do it for my son, and I hope that you would do it for yours as well, because that's just love, baby. I'm Mayonnaise. Thank you for watching.